Now, those bank failures sent bank stocks tumbling. It's something we talked about earlier today with economist Dr. Ray Perryman on our streaming channel, East Texas Now.
This is not 2008.
For decades, Dr. Ray Perryman of the Perryman Group has been one of Texas's leading voices for economic forecasting. The recent bank failures, he says, are no cause for great concern.
You had one bank bet the wrong way on interest rates, and then once the word got out that they had a liquidity problem, unfortunately with the internet these days, a lot of depositors came in very quickly and withdrew a lot of cash, more than they could handle.
That was Silicon Valley Bank, invested in tech stocks, an industry that's been seeing layoffs. The other failing bank, Signature Bank of New York, was invested in cryptocurrency.
I think regional bank stocks are falling some because these are basically large regional banks.
And regional banks in East Texas are reassuring their customers. The president of Southside Bank saying in part in a statement, they are a well-established community bank with over 63 years of proven conservative credit underwriting standards.
So on the whole, I think this will be a tempest in a teapot, but it is something that has to be addressed.
Jason Goodwin, KLTV 7 News.
And Dr. Perryman added some parts of the market reacted positively to today's news, considering it a potential sign the Federal Reserve may halt aggressively raising interest rates. The FDIC insures up to $250,000 per depositor on insured bank accounts. We're back with more news after this break.